Want an easy way to see if you could save money on car insurance? Geico gives you 3. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. Go online to geico.com or stop by the Geico office nearest you. 3 ways you could save 15% or more.
Coming up on SportsCenter, 8 and 24, both going all the way up to the Staples Center Raptors tonight. We're taking you out to L.A. and giving you some flavor from Kobe's big night. Still can't believe what we saw last night. Really? That's not a catch? And a freaking index card? Why the biggest league in America can't get the little things right. And while last year's leading rusher returns, hoping to help the Cowboys return to the playoffs, is this year's leading touchdown maker running away with MVP. What's good? Welcome to the 6th. Also ahead, we'll tell you whether number 12's comeback should be over after 1 start and 1 loss. Should the presently 6-seeded Falcons eliminate the Packers tonight on Monday Night Football? But first up, soon to be the first player in NBA history to have 2 numbers retired by the same team. Kobe balled out in both jerseys for 10 seasons each, scoring nearly the same number of points while wearing numbers 8 and 24. At halftime of tonight's game against the Warriors, Bryant will become the 10th player to have his jersey retired by the Lakers, joining Wilt's number 13, Elgin's number 22, Gail Gilchrist's 25, Magic's 32, Kareem's 33, Shaq 34, Worthy's 42, West 44, and Jamal Wilkes 52. Glad the Lakers were wise enough to retire both Kobe's numbers. Really, it was a no-brainer. The question of the day has been 8 or 24. For me, that's pretty obvious as well. 24. Kobe's 5 titles are tied for the most by a player in Lakers franchise history. Give me the Kobe that won 2 finals MVPs. Kobe was always a killer, but he became an icon and a legend in 24. Grew to become arguably the greatest Laker ever. That's still Magic for me, but it's a debate. Wearing 24. But 8 was no joke. That's why there was no wrong answer and only right to retire both.
To finally see Kobe's going up into the Raptors after playing against us for so long. It's going to be a really cool night. Good for the fans here in LA. Perfect way to honor Kobe as just a basketball genius and a Laker for life. So it should be an amazing time.
Kobe's pretty big in this town, so it's gonna be electric in there. It's gonna be it'll be a lot of fun.
Hey, Ramona Shelburne, what type of scene are you expecting at Staples Center tonight?
I mean, you see where I am right now? In about an hour and a half, this is going to be Kobe land. They got a Ferris wheel. I mean, this is going to be a scene here outside of Staples Center here tonight. And inside, obviously, it is one of the toughest tickets that I've seen in this town in quite some time. I've had like 10 people text me and be like, yo, can you get me a ticket? I'm like, you needed to ask like a month ago for this one. There's going to be so many celebrities here. Phil Jackson obviously not able to travel from Montana to this, but that's about the only guy that's not going to be here. Shaquille O'Neal, from what I hear, this is almost like his bar mitzvah, too. Okay, he's going to be emceeing things. I heard he's going to DJ some private party for him with Kendrick Lamar. And there's going to be a few surprises as well.
Well, we're looking forward to it. You got me excited. And tell people stop asking you for the hookup. They ought to know better than that. Go ahead and get your spot inside, Ramona. It's about to get popping out there. And then you mentioned Phil Jackson not being able to make it. He tweeted his congratulations. And as usual, when it comes to Phil, excuse the typos. Y'all know what he meant. Meanwhile, NFL spokesman Joe Lockhart confirmed today that despite Panthers owner Jerry Richardson putting the team up for sale after the 2017 season, the league's investigation into Richardson's reported workplace misconduct, and that's a probe which it took over from the Panthers over the weekend, it will continue. Meanwhile, the Panthers announced that Tina Becker has been named Chief Operating Officer with full control of the day-to-day management of the organization, making her one of the highest-ranking female executives for any NFL team. Now, as for how the team itself is managing these circumstances, Ron Rivera said he told them their focus should be on football.
I know the allegations are serious. I know that the league's going to do the investigation, and everybody should be heard and should be listened to and respected. And at the end of the day, who am I to judge? We need to have all the answers before we can do any of that.
It's sad to me, the whole thing. We work to be better people, better individuals, better whatever you want to call it, and to see that happen, it just saddened me as an individual. I got a lot of respect for our owner. He gave me opportunity to come here and further my career and do the things I need to do as a football player, and I can only touch bases on a personal level from my standpoint of view.
Josina Anderson is in Charlotte. Josina, how is this story developing story playing among the Panthers players?
Well, I thought what was interesting is that there's still a tone of loyalty and respect from people who spoke in the Panthers organization today while still trying to balance the seriousness and the sensitivity of the allegations. Like head coach Ron Rivera went out of his way to remind you that it was Richardson who was the one who gave him a head coaching job out of 9 interview attempts for the position. Thought it was also notable that Rivera said that he is not and has not read the allegations in the article and will not do so until the investigation is done. He's not dismissing the claims of other employees, but I thought it was interesting that he said he doesn't want his opinion of Richardson altered until everything is out. Now, as for player reaction, not too many players were in the locker room today, but when I asked cornerback Daryl Worley specifically his thought on the racial slur allegation, while initially going the whole I'm just a football player route, he said that he prefers to keep his opinions in the sanctity of his home. And meanwhile, Ed Dixon says while he pays his respects to Richardson, the only time that he's heard any type of frustration about the culture here while being here with the Panthers is when players were speaking up about not feeling free to express themselves at the height of the Kaepernick protest based on what they were hearing from veteran players who were communicating with the coach, who were communicating with the owner, Michael. So make of that what you will.
All right, Josina, we appreciate the latest report from Charlotte. Now, Carolina Panthers linebacker Thomas Davis will appeal his 2-game suspension for his illegal hit on Green Bay Packers wide receiver Devontae Adams on Sunday. Adams, who suffered his 3rd concussion in 2 seasons, accused Davis Monday on Twitter of quote-unquote headhunting. And Davis replied that he'd made a mistake, and anybody that was watching the game could see how remorseful Thomas Davis was on the sideline when he realized what he'd done. Now, the NFL released a statement, this from John Runyon, former offensive tackle and now the NFL's vice president of football ops. He said in part, during an interception return, you took a path toward your opponent who was pursuing the play and delivered a violent and unnecessary blindside block to his head and neck area. Runyon goes on to say, you have been previously fined for violations of safety-related rules. Your action yesterday warrants an escalation of discipline, not only because they were flagrant, but also because of your status as a repeat offender. But Ryan Clark, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Thomas Davis isn't exactly, with all due respect, Vontaze Burfict. I mean, he is not. Where's the idea of progressive discipline to go immediately to 2 games? Was it 2 games with the intent of reducing it to 1?
No, it's dead wrong.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I understand that you are trying to make the game safer, and you have to make a point with some of these hits. But to me, when you legislate this the same way you do Aqib Talib and Michael Crabtree, I have an issue. When you legislate this more than you do Mike Evans and Rob Gronkowski, I have an issue.
After the play.
After the play. This is a football play.
Right, during the play.
Now, I understand that it's against the rules. It's to the head and neck area. It's back toward the end zone. You can't make this hit. Thomas Davis understands that. Mm-hmm. And some people apologize after the game and say, well, they were holding me all day. I don't get these calls for 7 years.
Yeah.
And some people apologize like grown men do. Yeah. And even when a guy comes at him, tweets him his apology back.
Still said
shows remorse on the sideline.
Should that have factored in?
He didn't get – it shouldn't have got to that point anyway, Mike.
You mean
it shouldn't have got to 2 games anyway.
Right.
Whether he was remorseful or not shouldn't have factored into it. But when you look at the guy's career,
right.
I understand the repeat offender. And now you look at the way you have penalized and disciplined other players for much more egregious.
There's no consistency whatsoever.
And that's my issue.
The Rob Gronkowski is the glaring example. When you have that kind of a violent play after the play is over with and he gets 1 game, Thomas Davis gets 2. Thomas Davis gets 2 even as a quote-unquote repeat offender. But I guess okay. 1 game. Start 1 before we jump to 2.
And I'm so sorry to go off topic here, though, Mike.
What's your?
So what did the letter to Juju Smith-Schuster say? Who wasn't a repeat offender.
Right.
Who wasn't fined in this way or warned in this way. Who got 1 game immediately for the first time he did it.
Yeah.
You know, and so to me, and we've been saying this forever with the way that the NFL legislates these things. Like, you have to have some consistency.
Yeah.
I just think it's a black eye when this guy, who we know is a stand-up dude and a hard football player, gets penalized 2 games for something he did that was an actual football play.
Also, in fairness, understand Devontae Adams' frustration. Even if it wasn't intentional, your 3rd concussion, Trevathan just knocked him out early in the season.
Exactly.
So,
that's why I said nothing about what he said isn't in a negative light.
thanks in large part to Gene Steratore resorting to using a daggone index card to help him decide whether Dallas picked up a key late first down, and later Derek Carr fumbling out of the end zone on third down, trailing by 3. The rule is bad. The decision-making there, worse, quite frankly. Running back Ezekiel Elliott returns to the 8-6 Cowboys, with Dallas still having a shot of getting back into the playoffs. Elliott arrived at the Cowboys facility today at around 12:15 Central, and his first stop, of course, a meeting with Jerry Jones. But here's his head coach.
He's been working out, and he had a good workout over the weekend, and so he'll get reacclimated with our team tomorrow for the team run at 12 noon, and then just get back into the schedule with the rest of the guys for the rest of the week.
What was your general message to him?
Get back to work.
Ryan, how dangerous is Dallas with Zeke back?
Oh, they're extremely dangerous, I think, and he's not the reason. Dak Prescott had to figure it out. If you remember the first week when we watched him against the Atlanta Falcons, I was like, oh, my goodness.
Oh, everybody was like, he's exposed.
Yeah, I was like, Dak might be sorry.
He's a fraud.
Right, he can't
He's
play.
a product of Zeke and offensive line.
Right,
yeah,
but he had to figure it out. If you watch this team, it largely moved because of Dak Prescott last night, whether it was him making plays with his legs in the pocket or outside the pocket. So now I think he has that confidence. As a team, you have that confidence in him, and now just adding Zeke adds to it.
I like how Rob Marinelli's defense plays, man. They're not doomsday, not a bunch of stars. Right. But they're young, they're hungry, they're aggressive. They all run to the ball. Right. You know you're going to have them doing that. But
they're scared of him like a grandpa.
You know what I'm saying? He's the nicest man you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
But I'm watching last night. You know when I started thinking to myself exactly what Jason Garrett often says, that the runner matters, with all due respect to the job Alfred Morris and Rod Smith have done, is on the goal line when they can score. And they kicked that 19-yard field goal.
Absolutely.
I'm like, Zeke would have got that. You know, and those types of plays, maybe that could come down to an index card.
Right.
Maybe they don't sneak it, they give it to Zeke, and they get that. So those are the types of plays that make a difference.
Other teams know that too.
But I wonder, is it too little, too late? They got Seattle at home, who's struggling right now, and then they're at Philly. We'll see what Philly has to play for.
Right.
They not only have to win out, but they need some help to do it.
I think that's the issue. You look at the top 5, including the Carolina Panthers in that wild card spot. Those teams look very solid headed into the playoffs, so they may not come down to them. The Atlanta Falcons are really what they had to hope on, who have the tiebreaker against the Dallas Cowboys.
Tampa tonight.
Exactly. So they need a lot of help.
You know you want to pick the Bucs to win, don't you?
I absolutely do not. I absolutely do not.
You don't? Okay, I know you never miss an opportunity to see the Falcons.
Hey, man, listen, I love the Falcons. Man, I love what they do as a team. I don't shade the Falcons. I tell the truth.
Oh, okay.
And if that has to be shade, then I'm sorry.
However you want to qualify. You mentioned those top 5. So the Cowboys trying to take the Falcons for 6 in the NFC. Ryan, what do all 5 teams ahead of Atlanta have in common?
I don't know.
According to Elias, they've only been 2 instances in which 5 playoff teams in a single conference missed the postseason the previous year. Hadn't happened since 2008. All 5 of those teams did not make the playoffs last year. We could see that happen again.
Were the nose up there before when he asked you that question? Did they already have the nose on the board?
No, it did not. It was a reveal.
Because I was about to get upset that I didn't cheat.
Exactly. Now, with that in mind, our Falcons win tonight in Tampa would eliminate the 7-7 Packers, who haven't missed the playoffs since 2008. That was Rodgers' first year as a starter. Rodgers returned Sunday after missing 7 games and threw 3 picks for the first time since 2009. Packers coach Mike McCarthy was non-committal about playing Rodgers against Minnesota on Saturday night or in Week 17 against Detroit if the playoffs are out of reach. Rodgers has not missed a regular season finale, let alone the final 2 regular season games since 2011. And you'll recall that year the Packers were 14-1 and had already wrapped up the number 1 seed in the NFC going into the regular season finale. So, should the Packers, if in fact they're eliminated tonight, you know what I'm asking you? They should sit Aaron Rodgers? No. You're allowed. Okay.
Play him.
I was about to say, can we keep doing the mind thing?
Right.
Play him?
I think you play him. I think you play him, and it's not going to matter that he gets in the rhythm, but you play him to let him feel some good, to not throw those 3 interceptions, for the team to get a feel of what it's like having Aaron Rodgers. And I know
they don't know that already.
I know he's different. I know he's a player that you can't get hurt, and the Minnesota Vikings will be coming after him. We saw what Julius Peppers, K'Wan Short, and those guys were able to do. I want to see Aaron Rodgers play. Aaron Rodgers is a player. Aaron Rodgers is a healthy player.
Let me throw this at you.
Throw it at me. I'm gonna catch it.
Is this the player in you talking? Is this the safety in you talking that played through pain?
Absolutely.
That's like, wait a second. Y'all baby quarterback's enough.
No question.
You mean to tell me Rodgers can't play the rest of the way, but
100
we got to play the rest of the way?
I am 100%, but I'm also a player who understands that players are different, right? That they say all of us are created in God's likeness and image, but some of us special when it comes to this grass. And Aaron Rodgers is one of them that's special when it comes to the grass. So I understand that. I just think for the team, for Aaron, he needs to be out there. And I'm not saying play him and let him play every snap of the last 2 games.
Yeah.
But let him get out there, let him get some plays, let him get some throws. And I think that goes a long way as to trying to build something for next year as well.
It just makes you appreciate what they've been able to do because, yes, he only, quote-unquote, has 1 Super Bowl. But everybody can't be New England and Tom Brady and make the playoffs every year. For them to have made the playoffs every year and them not even be faced with a position of Aaron Rodgers playing out the string certainly says a lot about the consistency that this organization, many want to criticize that they've had. So I'm with you, though. I didn't even play, and it's a bad look for me. It'd be a bad look if you say he's clear enough to put him out there, healthy enough to put him out there.
But we're not.
But if we're in it, but since we're eliminated, now we got to protect him.
I agree.
Like, I don't think you can play it that way, even with once in a lifetime, once in a generation Aaron Rodgers.
I agree.
Something happens, God forbid, then you go ahead and rehab in the offseason.
Hey girl, have you done something new with your scales? Using new moisturizer? Nice. It really brings out the hazel in your eyes. Oh, hold on. Are you using whitening strips too? Your fangs look good, girl. Really good.
A really charming snake charmer? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
Wait, what? Have you been doing Pilates too?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
One more time in case you missed it, who missed it? It was the highest rated game in a long time.
The stakes about as high as they come.
A win for the Steelers. They get the first round bye.
These are the 2 best teams in the AFC going at it.
Throws it down the field, into the end zone, it's broken up in the end zone. There's a man down, and that's Antonio Brown holding his left leg.
He's going off, and he can't put any weight at all on that.
You lose somebody like AB, there's an adjustment.
Brown was in the medical tent on the near side. He is out for the time being.
Hand off to Dion, runs it through the left side, in the end zone, touchdown!
Lewis has given New England the lead with 56 seconds remaining. But still time now for Ben Roethlisberger. Throws underneath, caught by Smith-Schuster, breaks another tackle, and he's all the way down to the 11-yard line. The rookie comes up clutch. Roethlisberger pumps, throws over the middle. It is caught by Jesse James. Did he complete the process? Yes.
The ball moved laterally.
It's an incomplete pass. It'll be Pittsburgh's ball.
They trail by 3.
28 seconds left. Make the spike. He's going to fire it over the middle, and it is picked off. Duron Harmon with the game-sealing interception for New England.
I knew they weren't going to spike it. I've seen them do that to an AB before, and the defense is ready for it. Man, we needed that. That was a big win.
All right, so Antonio Brown, he tweeted, hey, this is a minor setback for me, but not this team. The goal is still the same, and I'm confident we can and will achieve it. We may not have won the game yesterday, but this team made a statement. Not sure what that statement is.
What you mean what that statement is?
What's the statement? We can't beat the Patriots?
They better than them dudes, man. They have a better. Did
you just assign a moral victory to this?
They have a better. No,
that's basically what you're saying.
It's not a moral victory
at all. Better.
That man say statement. He didn't say victory.
Oh, okay. Well, you said it was a statement. I'm telling you, I don't know what it's saying. A lot of people today have been saying that they're sick of this what's a catch, what's not a catch thing. That was obviously a catch. The process, to anybody with common sense, Ryan, had been completed. And after he completed it, he tried to stretch it over the end zone.
Not a catch.
By the letter of the law, it's not a catch.
Right. So
we all
not
agree.
A catch.
Gotcha. Common sense is a catch. The rule book, not a catch.
So this is what you're doing. We're going to assign common sense to the league with no common sense.
I know that's too subjective. I understand why they have to enforce it that way. Right. Too many fumbles left and right. I get it. But I just want to move on to the next play, which to me is the bigger deal for the Steelers than the overturned touchdown.
What play is that, Mike?
That would be the play that Ben Roethlisberger claims came from Todd Haley. And I'm sorry, you're Big Ben. You ain't got to do what everybody tell you to do. Why are you throwing that football? Why are you forcing that ball into Eli Rogers? Why are you acting like, of all teams, you're going to catch the Patriots sleeping in situational football?
Hey, you know
we play to win. No, you played yourself.
You know what was the funny part to me? That Dion Lewis says, we all knew they run that. They do. We've seen them do that play to AB. So not only did the defense know and the coaching staff knew, the running back also knew that that's something the Pittsburgh Steelers do. I don't mind taking a shot when you have Ben Roethlisberger and you feel like you can take a shot, especially after the emotional ups and downs of feeling like you had won the game. But when he can't clear that first window, when you can't make that throw right away,
you know what I'm saying?
It's a chance to throw it away. That, man. The reason Big Ben gets to run that play is because you expect him to make the right decision. And at that time,
they didn't call it and say throw a pitch.
Yeah, at that time, he didn't make the right decision. And, you know, everybody's going to be on Coach Tomlin for this because, obviously, if you listen to the chatter, this was the great X's and O's coach against the great motivator.
Yeah, that's not fair.
And so they're going to be on Coach Tomlin's case because of this. But you let Ben make that play. You let Ben get that opportunity because you expect Ben to make the right choice.
No, actually, you spike it and kick the field goal, which is me and my 9-year-old were yelling at the screen. You spike it and kick the field goal.
Why do you spike it, though?
Because
you don't have to spike it. You have a shot. You got Ben Roethlisberger.
Everybody knows the Dan Marino play at this point. Most of all the Patriots. It's not there. Spike it, kick the field goal. We'll talk to you in a second. And then you could blame the officiating. Antonio Brown's MVP candidacy took a hit with that hit. Not going to get to 2,000 like he had a chance of doing before. Meanwhile, Tom Brady's now got 52 career game-winning drives, second most since the merger. I like what Romo's like. Is that a real stat? Speaking of stats, Todd Gurley, 150-plus, 4 touchdowns, leads the league overall with 17. Russell Wilson was doing everything for Seattle, then he met my doppelganger, Aaron Donald, and so his MVP candidacy took a hit as well. Drew Brees, he relies on the run game, but still leading the league in completion percentage. And then there's the former MVP, Cam Newton, who was clowning against Green Bay. So right now, with 2 games left, who's the leader in your MVP clubhouse, Ryan?
Tom Brady.
That pains you to say it?
It doesn't pain me to say it, and it wouldn't have pained me to say it 2 weeks ago when he was playing off the charts well, before you saw what happened against Miami, before you really saw what happened against Pittsburgh, until Gronkowski was able to have that last drive against Sean Davis primarily.
He should get MVP votes.
No.
We talk about wide receivers?
No, yeah. If you watch Monday night's game, and then you watch Sunday evening's game, Gronkowski is the most valuable player on the New England Patriots team.
Look at the 2 games he missed this year.
Absolutely.
I don't know if he's the most valuable player on the team. I'm still saying that's Brady. But what a difference he makes when you look at how they struggled against Tampa and then against Miami when he got suspended.
But tell me this.
Yeah.
Who is Brady when he doesn't play this year, though?
Not good.
Not good. I understand that Tom Brady keeps it going, but if and he's not on the team anymore, if Jimmy Garoppolo is quarterbacking this team, I believe Gronkowski still does the things that he is doing.
Yeah, Garoppolo, bad boy.
Yeah,
by the way.
when Gronkowski is out, Tom Brady is not the same guy that we're used to seeing.
Right.
But you have to go Tom Brady, and then now Todd Gurley moves into that place, mostly because of injury. Carson Wentz would have been over Todd Gurley coming into this point, and many feel like he still may have done enough.
I got Gurley second right now. By the way, Sean McVay is locked up coach of the year.
Oh,
but for me, I would go Brady, Gurley, still Russell Wilson. All that he does for that team, and then flaws got manifested, and then Breeze. And you know who I put on the ballot out of respect? Case Keenum.
I understand that. Here's the other thing, though. When you put Gurley on it, right, you have to start looking at Le'Veon Bell. Even though Antonio Brown is on his team and overshadows him, if you're going to put Gurley into this conversation, Le'Veon Bell has to be a part of it, because when you look at those 2 seasons and what they both have accomplished, it's very close.
Well, and then when the way they finish the season without AB, maybe Bell makes that move you're talking about right now. I know you're the biggest Kobe fan, so I want you to stick around for this part. Back to Kobe. In case you hadn't heard, both 8 and 24 going up to the Raptors. Why you wear your jersey, Ryan?
Man, because I had this cool blue suit on, and I ain't want to put it over that. But
according to Basketball Reference, if you broke Kobe up into 2 players, one that wore 8 for 10 years and one that wore 24 for 10 years, both players would be locks for the Hall of Fame. Why 98, 99.8, 99.9? Like, under what circumstances would they not be in the Hall of Fame? 1 player, 2 numbers, 20 seasons. Now, on the stat sheet, the player that wore number 8, number 24 for the Los Angeles Lakers, he was almost identical when it came to points and assists. Number 8 had 3 titles, number 24, 2 titles that had MVP. Both numbers may have been worn by the same future Hall of Famer, but the Kobe that wore 8 couldn't have been more different from the Kobe that wore 24.
If you take his career and you divide it up basically in the numbers that he wore, he had 2 Hall of Fame careers. So it's only right that you need to retire both numbers.
Both tried to rip your heart out. Both of them was vicious in their own ways.
Kobe Bryant elevating. What did I just see? Kobe.
Just an epic performance by Kobe Bryant.
The Black Mamba strikes again.
Kobe Bryant came into the NBA as a 17-year-old kid. But former Lakers general manager Jerry West said he knew from the moment he saw him work out that Kobe was special. And for the next 10 years, West watched proudly as the kid wearing number 8 grew into a champion.
Number 8 was he was a lot more explosive and athletic. And when he went to the basket, he was trying to dunk on you. He was trying to embarrass you.
Hammers it down.
Number 8, 2000 finals. I had a chance to get my first ring, but no, some guy named Kobe Bryant comes and snatches all of the glory.
Shaquille O'Neal is fouled out.
You didn't think they would do it without Shaq out there. And he just made shot after shot and really pretty much willed them to the win.
Kobe Bryant lives for this moment where he can actually do his thing, not have to concede for the big fella underneath.
And it was just like, man, that kid right there, he's the closest thing I've ever seen to Jordan.
In overtime, Kobe pulls up, hits again. How good is this kid?
He completely took over this game, and I was like, damn, that's what I'm talking about.
And the Lakers survive in Game 4. Kobe Bryant, who bailed out Shaq and the Lakers in overtime.
That was he's that dude moment right there for me.
Kobe and Shaq won 3 titles together, and it's hard not to wonder how many more they could have won with each other. But the Lakers felt like they had to choose between them after the 2004 season. And owner Dr. Jerry Buss picked Kobe. 2 years later, Kobe made another change.
The Lakers have notified the league Bryant will wear 24 next year.
Great players do that all the time. They want to re-challenge themselves. I think for him, it was just changing numbers and just trying to wash away everything that he did with number 8 and see if he can duplicate it with number 24.
There were different situations, different teammates. His role was different, and he continued to reinvent himself. That's what all-time greats tend to find a way to do.
Bryant on the pull-up, punch it in.
Number 24 wasn't as fast, didn't jump as high, but he was a lot smarter. It was like he found ways to reinvent himself as he got older.
He's got that look. He's got that game.
24 was more of a thinker, a guy that played chess while other people were playing the checkers out there.
I just saw a much more mellow Kobe. It was the first time I really seen him smile on the basketball court as much as he did. And I think he enjoyed that.
I once asked Kobe which number he preferred the Lakers to retire, 8 or 24. He paused for a minute and smiled and said, whichever number they choose, it would be hard for someone else to wear the other one.
Kobe doing it the way Kobe does it. I wouldn't put it past Kobe Bryant that he was thinking, I'm going to play 10 more years, I'm going to play number 24, I'm going to have pretty much identical numbers that I had number 8, and they're going to probably have to retire both jerseys. That's the type of guy he is.
Rachel Nichols, you and I go back to Wimbledon 2002 when you were Rachel Alexander for the Washington Post. So I got to admit something to you. I'm a little jealous. Here's what I'm jealous about. You know, I was an NFL guy.
Yeah.
I never got to cover Kobe. You did.
Dude, come on.
Up close and personal. Up close and personal. What's your favorite Kobe memory from covering him through all these years and now seeing these 2 numbers go up to the Raptors?
Well, mine personally is just because I, knew Kobe before he was Kobe, obviously. I mean, he came into the league with such fanfare, but I met him in that rookie year, and, over the first couple years he was with the Lakers. He wasn't that popular on that team, Michael. He was younger. He had a lot of attention around him. A lot of the veterans on that team didn't love his attitude, and they didn't love that he was there with them. I was in my early 20s. I had a lot of people, as I was a young female sports writer, not so excited that I was around in certain circumstances.
Right.
So I remember very clearly one day, I had covered him in a couple things, but this was the first time we actually sat and talked at his locker after sort of the thundering horde had moved on during media availability. And I asked him a question, and he just looked at me. He's like, how did you know I felt like that? And I just sort of said, well, I just figured you would. And we just sort of went from there and had a long talk about how he had to go up and play video games in his room while his older teammates went out on the road together because he was very clearly not of age to go out and they didn't really want him with them. So just sort of seeing that that's where he started and then what he grew out to be in the league was fascinating for me, and then everything that's happened since.
His iconic status among today's generation is interesting because, like Iverson has a certain way that he's revered among this generation of players. We know Jordan's standing. What's Kobe's influence that's still felt throughout the league among today's players? How would you describe that?
Tremendous. I think most NBA fans would be surprised just how high the percentages of their favorite players who idolize Kobe Bryant, maybe more so even than Michael Jordan, of today's current NBA players just because of the age difference. I was sitting down and talking with Isaiah Thomas recently, and he was telling me that after he got hurt, he watched Kobe Bryant tape after Kobe got hurt with his Achilles injury. So many guys you hear that from over and over again. I just want to be like Kobe.
Well, it's Kobe's day, it's Kobe's night out in LA. But it's still LeBron's league right now. So we're talking about 3 straight triple-doubles, 5 straight games with double-digit assists, still killing it after all these years. He talked about wanting to break the mold. I thought he did that years ago. If there's ever a mold for LeBron James, the rules of nature simply do not apply to this man in his 15th season. Rachel, let's stay with the Kobe conversation because that was always a bit of a forced rivalry, not really rivals. They didn't meet in the finals like we always wanted them to over the years. But Kobe has always been revered and recognized as an assassin, as a killer. He's a Terminator. LeBron, why doesn't he get that same level of respect? Is it because of his unselfishness? Why don't people look at a man who night in and night out is dominating the league as if he still has something to prove as a killer the same way we do Kobe Bryant? Just the last shot thing?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think LeBron gets plenty of respect, and I think when it's all said and done, a lot of people are going to rank him quite a few places ahead of Kobe Bryant in the all-time players list. I think since you're bridging these two guys together, I can only say that I personally am thrilled that Nike brought the Nike Puppets commercial back today with Kobe and LeBron, because that might be the best ad campaign ever. But it is interesting you say it was forced. They brought that campaign out. Yeah, I mean, come on, look at those puppets. Those puppets are life. I am sorry. But they brought that campaign out because that was the year, you remember, that we thought that Kobe and LeBron were going to meet in the finals, and it was a big surprise when Orlando got there instead. So I think people look at them differently. LeBron really likes to be liked. He likes to build things. Kobe likes to be the guy, and he wants to destroy things, and that's a very different attitude. They don't have to be the same. You can like both of them a lot and still appreciate that they both have a pretty big contributions to the NBA game.
Yeah, they still want to win just the same. It just feels like the narrative. Michael. Right. It just feels like the conversation is always about, and this is not a Kobe versus LeBron. They have more in common than difference. It's like a great pass could be just as good as a great shot. You are always great company, Absolutely. Rachel Nichols. Thank you so much. So as you all might imagine, it's been a difficult day for us here at ESPN. As John Skipper, the president of our company and the co-chairman of Disney Media Networks, he resigned this morning. John joined ESPN in 1997 as senior vice president and general manager of ESPN, the magazine, and he was appointed company president on January 1st, 2012. John said in part, quote, "I have struggled for many years with a substance addiction. I have decided that the most important thing I can do right now is to take care of my problem." He went on to say, "I come to this public disclosure with embarrassment, trepidation, and a feeling of having let others I care about down. To my colleagues at ESPN, it has been a privilege. I take great pride in your accomplishments and have complete confidence in your collective ability to continue ESPN's success." If I may, I respectfully like to take exception to John's coming to this public disclosure with embarrassment, trepidation, and a feeling of having otherwise let others I care about down. John, you're not letting us down. You're speaking and standing up for what's best for you and your family. So I'd like to take this moment to express, first of all, my appreciation for all you've done for me, my career, and my family. Thank you for trusting Jamel and me with this platform. Now you need to go take care of yourself and get well. You have our support, our continued admiration, respect, and our commitment, as you asked, to make you proud by maintaining the standard of excellence that you've helped establish. Man, I was almost in this countdown. People, I was saying they had more shared than I was saying in common. Come on now. I got 2 strikes, baby. The Jaguars, 45-7 behind a 3-touchdown performance from Blake Bortles. Afterwards, Jadeveon Clowney, despite the fact that his quarterback is TJ Yates, not impressed.
It's embarrassing. None of my want to get beat by no. I don't even know what the score was. I know it's crazy, but Nobody want to get beat like that. It's embarrassing to the whole organization, everybody on the team.
Is Bortles improving?
Trash.
In the immortal words of Black Thought, we losing grip of what garbage mean. First of all, he's not trash. At least not this year against Houston in particular. They've beaten Houston 74-14 this year, with Bortles throwing for 451, 4 touchdowns, and no turnovers. And you can't say somebody's trash. Yeah, your real quarterback's on IR, but not when you got TJ Yates after you just got cooked by said trash who's down all those wide receivers. Stop calling people trash. That's harsh. But Seahawks defense was trash yesterday. I mean, Todd Gurley running through them left and right, 150 yards, 3 touchdowns on the ground, 1 receiving. Earl Thomas kept it 100 about his teammate Bobby Wagner, who played hurt.
My personal opinion, I don't think they should have played. The backups would have did, just as good. But, the injuries, Cam, Sherm, KJ, it definitely hurt today. You normally see Wags, running from sideline to sideline, and he just couldn't do it today. But I think he just waited a little bit too long to take a step off.
And he waited a little too long to delete this here tweet. Bobby Wagner said, keep my name out your mouth. Stop being jealous of other people's success. I still hope you keep balling, bro. Couple of things. This is how the Seahawks get down. They snipe. That's how they live. That's how they operate. But the stop being jealous of people's success part is a little troubling that this was like something that he was waiting to fire off at ET. Ultimately, you're looking at a team that's just struggling to keep it together. Lastly, an NFL spokesman said that referee Gene Steratore decision to use an index card was very unusual. You think? But did not violate league rules. Oakland A's, bring some levity to the situation, tweeting about the index card measurement. It might not have been against league rules, and who knows? Maybe they spotted it wrong to begin with. It's such an inexact thing, spotting the football after Dak Prescott was in a pile. And this really lost in the game. Derek Carr, I feel for you trying to do too much, but you got to know that that's the worst rule in sports, and you will be penalized if you lose the ball out of bounds. That said, an index card, several sets of fans showed up and showed out and showed their love and admiration, a lot of class for some of their stars, starting with Melo Saturday at MSG.
And up forward at 6'8" from Syracuse, number 7, Carmelo Anthony.
I expected absolutely nothing less from the Knicks faithful, and I expected nothing less from the internet once this image was captured. Lala probably wasn't even looking at him. It's just I don't even want to capture it. I'm sure they're fine.
Teddy Bridgewater is walking onto the field.
It was great. It was even better seeing Case leading the chant. Case is an awesome guy. And, to see him standing behind me, it was just amazing.
But not like Vikings fans need an excuse to get loud, but that gave me goosebumps. So did watching Ryan Shazier wave the terrible towel. Heinz Field went crazy when they showed him on the big screen. That game had everything, and that was probably the best moment to see him in good spirits. But they tried to steal his joy once they stole that touchdown from Jesse James. It's like, come on. It is some old bull. It totally is. I ain't gonna get me twice. It is some old BS. Okay? That was a catch. The process was completed enough for Jesse James to stretch it across, but them the rules. Still shouldn't have tried the fake spike thing. And Zach Miller, the Bears tight end, posted video of him walking without crutches for the first time since that gruesome leg injury against the Saints on October 29th. That injury nearly resulted in his leg being amputated. So forget football. It's just great to see him moving around, up and about. Hopefully he can come back, but that was a great image from the weekend as well. This might be the best thing ever caught by a microphone in pro football history. So Cam Newton, 4 touchdowns and that win over the Packers. Panthers are rolling, and you know it's going great when you're acting like you're on the playground with Clay Matthews.
It's that wheel route. It's that wheel route.
Watch the field, bro. That's good. Watch this. Ready. Ready for you. Ready.
That's when you know you're feeling yourself. I told Black Thought the other day, I want to know what it's like to do something that well. Same for Cam. I want to know what it's like to be in a zone like that. Diddy wants to own said Carolina Panthers with the whole Jerry Richardson situation. Steph's like, I want in. So is Colin Kaepernick. Well, hell, I ain't got no money for it, but I'll work for free. Let me be your vice president of football operations. Anyway, before I sign off, it's never too late to give a shout out. This came out Friday, but just saw it today. Rangers pitcher Cole Hamels and his wife Heidi donated their 32,000 square foot home in Missouri to Camp Barnabas, a non-profit organization that helps those with special needs. The home is valued at $9 million and sits on 100 acres of land. All right, that's it for me. Colin Troops is next right here on ESPN. Kansas hosts Omaha. I'll see y'all tomorrow on E1 with a special guest for the next few days.